it started. There we go. So y'all know I start every day, every day. I'm gonna make sure mute all. Bam. There you go. So everybody's muted. Let's get this training started. So you know I start every day off with a quote. Day 5 quote is wake up every day with the thought of something wonderful is getting ready to happen. So if you do not know who we have in the building tonight, please, 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 or today, it's still early in the day for me. Dr. Josh Lee and Brandon Boyd, I'm telling you, you can go to them and literally learn a little bit of everything. If you want to learn how to go build your business, you go to their YouTube page. You want to learn how to become an independent trader, you go to their YouTube page. You want to learn how to actually get into just becoming a seven-figure network marketer, you go to their YouTube page. I'm telling you, I go to them every day, morning motivations, they're building, business building trainings. Every day, Monday through Friday, they have a master of the skill trading, teaching us the importance of trading on their own. This is my second call with them. I love them so much. They teach, like, I love just reaching out to Dr. Bo because he's so lovable. He shares everything. I'm telling y'all, he's amazing. Sherman 100 in the building. Like literally the number 5 enroller. It's another noise. Y'all can't hear me? Give me just a second. Make sure that y'all can hear me good. Participants. I can't unmute me. I want to unmute that. All right. If everybody can hear me good, drop some ones in chat. Everybody can hear me good. Because I'm getting ready to pass it over anyway. If you do not have the link to my chat, I'm going to go ahead and drop that before the training gets started. I'm going to drop that before the training gets started so everybody can have access to all of the previous recordings. And we're going to pass this thing off because I'm not going to hold anybody. I know these people are very, 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 very busy and they could be doing anything else right now. So if you have notebooks out, drop some. Well, wait, I'm gonna drop the link to the chat. Make sure that you are in the Universal Knowledge chat, and then I'm gonna pass the call over. Make sure you have your notes out. Dr. Brandon Boyd, make host. There we go. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I want to make sure you can hear me loud and clear on your end.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, thanks for having us back on. We're excited to be here, and we're going to get straight to it as we always do. And as mentioned, we're on Go Live 5 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern, except on Fridays. We actually do 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what we want to really focus on today as part of this boot camp that you guys have been part of is really talk about how we got to where we are and how you can become an independent master trader. We talk about learning the strategies, becoming mastering the skill. It's part of the flyers we put out. We're going to be putting out a ton of flyers tomorrow for all the people hitting Club 50 and Club 100. But it's really about the journey of what it took to get here. Okay. And then how to become an independent trader yourself, how to really master the skill. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you actually get this down, I promise you, it will change your life. And it is worth whatever it takes morally and ethically to make this thing happen. Okay. Because when we first got started, so I started trading actually about 6.5 years ago. I found trading in early 2015. It was March of 2015 when I first found trading. I was doing normal Forex. I traded for a number of months. I didn't have any success. In fact, with full transparency, I always tell people the truth so I don't have to remember what I told people. With full transparency, the first day I traded, not only did I not do a demo account because the person who actually told me about it didn't tell me to start with a demo account. I didn't get any training. I set up a MetaTrader 4 account. And on that MetaTrader 4 account, I funded that account with $2,000. I lost and blew the entire account the first day. And so, of course, I said trading is a scam. It doesn't work and all that kind of stuff. But then I realized that it's not a scam, that I was still confused about money, all that kind of stuff, all the different acronyms. But the bottom line is I didn't know what I didn't know. Therefore, I blew my account. And so I went through that process of losing money in the beginning, I found I Am Mastery Academy. Back then it was iMarkets Live. I found it December 9th, 2015. Okay. So that was almost, 10 months later. And so I joined 8 days after Jason Brown and Matt Rosa. I went through the process, quickly was going up the chairman ranks. We had a huge setback in the company. The first quarter of 2016, I stayed in the company. I planted my flag. I called Chris Terry and I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying. Even if I'm the last person in this company, I'm not going anywhere. Stayed through the process, rebuilt, and then started that trading process again. So the first thing that I had when I first got in was that I wanted to learn how to trade. I didn't have success. Okay. I was building because I wanted that residual income. And I knew that my story and that my success and that my testimony would eventually come, because your test becomes your testimony, right? And so as time went on and I became successful on the building side, I really wanted to be a product of the product, because you guys know as well as I do, it's not as fun to share something that you're not succeeding with. Okay. If you're actually seeing success, even if it's just on the demo side, that is enough for you to feel good about what it is that you're sharing. It's also good enough to know that our other people are winning as well, so that you can still share it. But I went through this journey, and throughout that journey, I was trading on my own. And then I introduced several years ago to my business partner. He and I met 19 years ago back in college. He was a doctor. And what he was doing was he would be meeting with patients during the day. I told him about trading. He was actually trading regular Forex between sessions with patients as a doctor while I was doing this full time. I did not know that it would turn into what it did today. Okay. Now, what happened during that time, and I'm going to speed this up so that we can get to Dr. Lee, is that he started having success and we started trading together. We would wake up, I believe it was somewhere between 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in that range. And we would meet pretty much in the pitch dark in our office. Okay. And with that, we would trade early. We were doing US 30 and stuff like that. So we were trading the Dow. We also did commodities, gold and silver, and then the regular Forex pairs. We had success. We had a day where US 30 destroyed us. We made a mistake. We did not cut the trade. And I mean, I'm talking about, again, with full transparency, we lost multiple six figures in one day. Okay, that was not very fun. However, guess what? It has never happened since that time. And that's why it's never losses, only lessons. We learned that day, discipline, the mindset, risk management, and money management is the key to long-term success. It has never happened to us since. We got smarter. We got more disciplined. Okay. And then a little bit later, we found HFX, which is what we do today. We immediately started doing binary trading. Absolutely loved it. I changed all my videos. I said, this is how we're moving forward. This is the easiest form of trading that we've ever done. Not only did we have success with that, we started doing Zooms, and then we were asked to come on and go live. So guys, it has been quite the journey, and it's been worth it. All of that pain, it's all in the past, right? Because your pain is what gets you to where you're at today, right? Suffer now, right? So that you can be a champion forever. We were willing to go through the suffering. And that's how we got to the victory today. People don't see what we did behind the scenes. They don't see the loss of sleep. They don't see that we had to neglect certain things to get to where we're at today. So what I'm going to do, because I know that this is a short Zoom, is I'm going to turn it over to my business partner, Go Live educator, Dr. Lee, an individual that without him, I would not be having the success that I'm having trading, because the Bible says two are better than one. It takes teams to win championships. And I just love coming in and trading with him each day, educating with him each day. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make him a host here, and then we'll turn it back. But guys, go ahead and put some fire emojis inside of the box for Dr. Lee, my best friend and Go Live educator.
Excellent. All right. Got that unmuted. Perfect. Hey, thanks so much, everyone. So good to be with you today. I'm excited to talk to you for a little bit and hopefully share some things that are going to be of value to you. I'm all about the details. I'm that kind of detailed guy. I love analytics. I love analyzing the charts. That's why I love trading, is because it gives us an opportunity to really dive into what's actually going to make us some money. And so I want to make good use of today's time and not bore you just with my story alone, because while that, there can be elements of each of our stories that are inspiring, what it really comes down to is, what do we need to do, right? What do we need to do to actually go out and apply these things to change our lives, to make some money, to really get into this, right? And it's one thing to even see somebody make money, but guess what? Look on the internet, you can find lots of rich people. That doesn't make you rich. And so I could show you a bank account with millions of dollars in it, but what does that do for you? Nothing. It doesn't do anything. So rather than focus all on, our stories and the successes that we've experienced, which are many, ultimately, we want to provide you with the information to help you actually get there yourself. Okay. That's our ultimate goal. So what I really like to focus on today is, what does it take? What is it going to take for you to truly become a full-time trader? And so I want to tell you a little bit of my story, but in the context of the specific things that I think you as well will need to do in order to get there as well. Now, your story is going to be a little different. Your job, your occupation, your family circumstances, your finances, all of those things are going to look different than mine. They're going to look different from Brandon's and the next person in line. So don't think that you have to have the same situation in order to get a similar outcome. Okay, so here's the key things, and make sure and take notes on this. So first and foremost, you need to gain knowledge. You need to gain the knowledge it takes in order to become an expert trader. Now, if you wanted to learn any new skill in life, think about your own profession. Whatever you've been doing to make money, you might be a plumber, you may be a carpenter, you may be working in a manufacturing facility, you may be working as a policeman, whatever that career path may be, inevitably, you had to gain some new knowledge about how to do your job. And think about the risk elements of that job had you not first gained the knowledge. Even with something as simple as, being a customer service representative, if you didn't know the products, or if you didn't know how even the computer system worked at that job, boy, it could get real chaotic real fast, right? And so with any specific occupation, with any specific skill, there is some knowledge that you need to obtain. In this academy, within Go Live, et cetera, that is your source of knowledge, where you can gain all the information, the strategies, the processes, all of the stuff with regards to trading specifically that you need to know in order to develop that skill. So for Brandon and I, what was our story in that regard? Well, really starting back, I think it was about 2003 maybe, we were first introduced to trading in general, very, very early phase. There was a stock market at the time, was what we were introduced to it. But here's the problem, is we were missing a secondary component, and that was the tools and technology that would facilitate our success. We actually were gaining the knowledge. We were part of a company that was providing some trade education. It's now a publicly traded company and so forth. We don't work for them obviously anymore. But the point is that we were gaining the knowledge, but we needed the tools and the technology to enable us to day trade and do some of that short-term trading like we wanted to do. It didn't exist. At that time, we were on dial-up internet, and we didn't know that dial-up doesn't work with trading. Let me tell you firsthand, it does not work. Okay. We actually analyzed the charts great, but we lost every trade because it was so slow to execute the trades and get in and out and all that kind of thing. And so we learned very, very quickly in a matter of a couple of days that, a great idea, but the time has not yet come, because the technology and the tools, those kind of resources, had not yet caught up to the idea. But today you got all of those things in place. The technology, the internet speed, all of those things that you need to trade, boy, it's right in here, right? You can do it all from your phone. You can do it from your laptop. You can do it from an iPad, any kind of device. You can execute those trades. You simply press a button, you're in, press a button, you're out, etc. It's very, very simple. So you need to make sure you have those tools and technology in order to do that. So that's the secondary component. So the knowledge will come from within the academy, from participating in Brandon and I's session. I won't go into too much detailed trading stuff today on which strategy to choose, et cetera, because again, this is how to become a full-time trader and not necessarily the details of which strategy to choose today. Okay. You'll learn those strategies, et cetera, once you're on, as you're watching Go Live, et cetera. So the third component is experience. Each of us need experience. And so as Brandon mentioned, a couple of years ago, it was about 5 years ago. I say a couple, it was about 5 years ago when he kind of reintroduced me to trading. He said, boy, Josh, things have really changed. And I'm part of the company, I Am Mastery Academy. And they have not only some of these tools, resources, but the technology has improved, et cetera. And now this is an idea whose time has come, right? And so as I began to dabble in it, he had me download MetaTrader 4, which we don't use on the HFX side, but I downloaded that on my phone and I immediately began to practice. Where do we practice? Where do we gain this initial experience? My personal recommendation is to do it on demo. Reason being is because, in a sense, why practice with your live money when you don't know what you're doing? Okay, you got to own straight up front that when you first start out, you do not know what you're doing. So you will lose money, guaranteed. And that's not about being pessimistic. It's about being very real with you. You see what I'm saying? And Brandon and I, we had to experience that firsthand ourselves. But when I first downloaded MetaTrader 4, I didn't have a live account. I'm like, okay, we're going to practice on demo. And so I began to practice and I began to execute some trades. And I'm like, dude, I'm winning a lot of trades. Then we threw in some money. We put in a few $100s, practice some more. Hey, we're winning more. Then we put in a few $1,000s, et cetera. And so as we begin to gain experience, it ultimately led to one of the most important elements of how to truly make that transition to become a full-time trader, and that is confidence. Confidence is not something that you can just acquire throughout or without these other variables. Confidence does not come from just making a decision saying, I'm going to be confident, right? A confident child can get in a car and still get in a car wreck, right? And so knowing that we need that confidence and the steps that need to be taken beforehand, ultimately, we can know that that confidence is what's going to give you that positive affirmation that, you know what, I can do this. That's probably the most difficult thing for most people is making that transition. I can tell you for me, as a doctor, I was already making good money. I already had a good lifestyle. I had a big family. I had a lot on the line, a lot to lose, you could say, right? I was putting my whole career on the line, my profession, something I had invested decades of time to become. And so in making that decision, you can bet that I took it very seriously and I wasn't going to pull that trigger early. And so as I began to learn, as I began to gain the knowledge I needed to gain, as I learned to utilize the tools and technology that would help me get there, I had to learn how to use the app. And in your case, if you're doing HFX and that style of trading, make sure you get on a broker, use the demo, get used to the platform, understand the terminology, the verbiage, that's part of the knowledge component. And then after you do that, gain the experience, practice, practice, practice. Practice on demo first. Once you develop some consistency, then go to live money. And then you have a chance to actually feel really your money on the line. All those very real emotions will come into the picture. You'll press that button. I didn't even know my heartbeat could beat in my head, and I knew all about anatomy, right? And I thought, man, I thought my heart was down here. I think it's right up here. Because my heartbeat was beat so hard. The first time I got into some real trades with real live money, I thought I was going to have a heart attack or a stroke or something. But anyway, the point is that as you gain that experience with live money, you're going to learn new lessons, new principles, new things to help you improve in that consistency and improve in your confidence. And over time, you may be working your full-time job all during that time because you still got to pay your bills. You still got to do those things. That's what I did too. It actually took me 3 years before I could go full-time with trading. 3 years. I took it very seriously. Every single day I was trading. I was reading. I was watching videos. I was doing everything I could in every spare minute that I had because I had one final thing that is critical for each and every one of us. And that is that long-term vision and dream that this could work out. You see, each of us has a past. We have a story. We've got the trials, the tribulation, the hurts, all the things that we had to face in life, right? That beat you down, cause you to doubt yourself, cause you to doubt your potential, et cetera. But what we don't live based on that. We learn from those things, et cetera. But ultimately, we need that long-term vision of where we're going. We need the big dream. We need the big vision. And it's not always just about, I need the Lamborghini. I need the $1 million mansion. I need $1 billion in my bank account. That's not always the end goal. For each person, it's going to be different. And only you can decide what that will be for you. But you do need to have that vision. The reason why is because I can promise you this. And again, this isn't being negative, but you are going to lose some money here and there. Okay. Listen to me again. You will take some losses. It's just part of it. You're going to make some mistakes. That'll be your fault. You're going to make some, sometimes things will just not go your way, even though you did all of your best analysis and you still lose the trade, right? You'll fall into the temptation of emotion and you'll revenge trade. You'll make all sorts of kind of unfortunate mistakes that ultimately cause you to lose money. And it's in that moment where your dreams, your vision, your long-term goals and aspirations really come into the picture and help you persevere through that pain, persevere through that loss. Because if you don't, all you're going to be left with is, you know what, this isn't for me. I really don't think that trading's legit. I'm out of here. I'm going to go back to my safe, secure job, right? And I'm going to take my paycheck. I'm going to take my hourly rate. I'll take my salary, whatever you got. And you resort to that because that's comfortable. And so for me personally, I can tell you for myself, what I had to do the moment Brandon first introduced this to me, I had already kind of knew generally about trading and investing. I just knew that the technology wasn't there when I was first introduced to it, decades ago. And, but when he introduced it to me again, and I saw that you could press a button on your phone and immediately get in the trade, I said, dude, this is what I've been looking for. And so I became 100% committed to committing everything I had, extra time, my resources, and I was willing to go through the pain. I knew it was going to come, and it did. Let me tell you, Brandon mentioned, we had a couple of bad days early on where we started to invest some big money. We had a multi-six-figure loss on one particular day. That wasn't exciting, let me tell you. That's enough to want to quit. And it was very, very painful. I did take a few days off, I'll admit. But it was only because of that long-term vision and goal that I was able to persevere, that Brandon was able to persevere through those kind of hard times. And so my encouragement to each of you is acquire the knowledge, identify the tools and technology that you need to have. And each of your situation may be different, but most people these days, you've got a phone, you've got a computer, you've got maybe a tablet or something that you can use to access the information, but become familiar with it. Get on the broker platforms, make sure that you're familiar with how to use it, the buttons. What do these things mean? I mean, when I first got on the HFX brokers, I was looking at every single little icon on the screen to make sure that I was familiar. Because guess what? Even though I knew how to trade, I made some mistakes. When we first transitioned to HFX, I made some mistakes. We actually lost, what did we lose? Like $6,000 our first day, I think, something like that, when we did HFX, because even though we could read the charts and stuff, we accidentally pushed some wrong buttons. It was kind of silly. But the take home message is, we're all human, right? We're all going to make a few mistakes, and that's okay. Again, it's that long-term vision, those long-term goals that will help you persevere through the pain, persevere through those things so that you can attain the bigger, carrot, if you will, that comes along with it. So what that will help create along with your experience is confidence and consistency. In order to go full time with this, you need consistency and the confidence. That confidence comes typically from consistency. So create consistency on demo first, show that you can do this, show that you can control your emotions. And once you do that, then transition to live, show that consistency. Prove to yourself. You're not proving to me, you're not proving to Brandon, because guess what? Whether you got $10 in your account or $10 million in your account, it doesn't change my life one bit, right? So you're proving it to yourself. You got nothing to prove to anybody but yourself that you can be consistent with this. And as you do so, then your confidence will soar and you'll be able to actually pull the trigger to go full time with this. And one last thought, just to share on this note, and that is that this takes time. Be patient. The time is not going to be the same for everybody. For one person, it may be a 6-month transition. I've seen people and met individuals as we've trained on Go Live, who younger people in particular, who are still in college or whatever. They don't have any kids, and they're able to make the transition very quickly because they just don't have a lot of financial obligations, not a whole lot on the line. They're like, boom, I'm in, right? And very quickly they're able to make that transition, and I applaud them. That's wonderful. That wasn't my story, and it may not be your story. You may be able to get to transition faster than Brandon and I were able to do. And that's wonderful. But just recognize that each of those steps must take place before you can really go full time with this. And let me wrap up on this. I want you to write down a number, and I want you to think for a second, what would it take in order, we can't make income claims, but I want you to consider this. So I'm going to go through a little exercise with you. I want you to consider in your mind how much money, just think of a dollar amount that it would take for you to earn every month in order for you to truly consider this a full-time thing. And I want you to write it down. I want you to think, okay, how much money realistically would I need to make? And don't even think, oh, I want to make 100 grand a month. That means, if you're not making that now, don't put that number down. Think realistically, what would it take for you individually to actually go full time with this? If you could consistently create that much income. And I'm just going to give you a simple mathematical consideration on how to actually create that. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, you know what, we're going to shoot for a specific percentage target on a daily basis. Okay. In order to create that. But first we're going to go with a monthly basis. So you've written down a number that you need per month. Let's just say per month that you need in order to go full time with this. Now I want you to divide that number by 0.02. Okay. So you're going to take that number, you can pull out your phone, whatever you got. So if like one person put in there, they said 2,500. So I'm going to do 2,500 divided by 0.02, press equals. Okay. And then divide that number by 20. All right, you did that. So take the number that you wrote down, divide it by 0.02, and then divide it by 20. So basically what you've done is you've taken that number, you said, all right, this number is going to represent 2% of something. All right, that's how much money that we need to gain overall in order to, and then we're going to divide that by 20 days, 20 trading days of the month. And so essentially what we've calculated, so like in that example, $2,500, if that's what a person chose, you'd need $6,250 in your trade account and be consistently making that much money in order to acquire that over the course of a month. Okay. And I think I did that math right. I may have done that wrong. But in any case, the point is you want to calculate how much money do you need to make essentially per day. I may have given you the wrong math. I apologize. Let me just rethink that. So $2,500, if that was an example, we're going to divide that by 20 and then divide that by 0.02. That's what it is. So, so that is correct. Yeah. So 6,250 is how much a person would need in their account if they're making 2% per day in order to make $2,500 in a month trading 20 days. Okay. So why do we do that math? Because I want to paint a picture for you, not to give you a promise. I can't guarantee how much money you're going to make or anything like that. But I want you to begin to have, in a sense, that vision for yourself to say, how much money do I need in my trade account in order to truly do this full time? Because you may have the knowledge, you may be gaining the experience, et cetera. But if you've got $500 in your account, it may not be realistic to go full time yet. But yet we've seen people, in a sense, pull that trigger and say, oh man, I'm going full time with this. How much you got in your account? I got $500. I'm going to win. Chances are they're not exercising good risk management and they're going to make some mistakes and they'll end up having to go back to their job sooner rather than later. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to be very realistic with you about what it takes to actually become a full-time trader. So in that particular example, if 2,500 a month was your number, then you need at least roughly, $6,000 in your account, making 2% per day in order to get there. And so if your number's different than that, then, figure that out. But the point is that whatever that number is, shoot for that and shoot to consistently get that percentage, whether you've got, $500 in your account or any other amount, shoot for that consistency. I'm proving to myself, I'm getting that 2% per day, consistent. And as you do so, then you've got the confidence to say, you know what? The last 2 months, I have averaged overall my 2% per day, if that was your goal, right? And it could be different for everybody. Some people shoot for 5%, others shoot for 3%, whatever that may be. I think 2% is very realistic for a lot of people. But ultimately, now you've got a concrete number that you can shoot towards. You say, okay, this is realistically what it's going to take. For other people, they may say, you know what, I need $10,000 in my account. Right now, I've got 500, so I got some work to do. I got to start growing that account. So I'm going to let this time be the time of proving to myself that I can do this. You see what I'm saying? And so as you do that, as you get closer to that number along that journey, you're going to make some mistakes. Don't worry about that. But ultimately stick to it. Have that long-term goal. But don't shortchange yourself either. You've got to plug into the system. Get on Go Live, watch the sessions. Don't just even get on with Brandon and I alone. We're a great source. We will teach you so much about the markets, it will blow your mind. But in addition to that, get the practice. Get on with Ness, get on with Millie, get on with Matt Thayer, get on with these other guys that repetition, that practice will help enlighten your mind and get you really in tune with what the market is telling you. And as you do so, that's really what will create that confidence to finally pull the trigger and do this. So here's one last thing, and I'll end on this, I promise. And that is, we've just talked about what it would take for you to go full time, right? In terms of an actual number, how much money you might need in your account, and making 2% per day in order to do that. Here's the other cool thing. Most people, they don't want to stop there. And I could tell you, I didn't want to just replace my income either. As you continue to grow this, you realize there's no upside limit. There's no ceiling on this. And I won't tell you what my personal goal is, because I don't want it ever to be construed as an income claim or something like that. But I can tell you my financial goal with Brandon and me, very, very high. If I told you, you'd just be like, that sounds ridiculous, right? But the reality is in the market, you can do it, right? We know people who make so much money every day, it's insane, right? But the take-home message is that, so whatever you want to accomplish, you say, well, I need $2,500 a month to live, but man, I'd honestly love 50 grand a month. That's what I'd like to have. We'll figure out the math on that. Grow your account to that level. There's no reason why a person can't do that if they're willing to put in the time and be consistent with it. Okay. We can't guarantee any specific incomes. FTC won't let us do that, but we just want you to know of what's possible. There's $6.6 trillion of volume going through the market every single day, just on the Forex side. There's plenty of volume of money being exchanged. It's simply up to you and me to participate in that. Participate in that exchange. There's plenty of room, in a sense, to take your share, if that makes sense. So anyway, with that, I believe in each and every one of you. I know you can do it. All of us have obstacles, no matter what your situation. You may be having life problems, health problems, financial problems, whatever they may be. I believe you can overcome them. I know Brandon does too. And so anyway, with that, I'll turn the time back over to Brandon just for a second, and we'll get back to Talia, I think. Thanks for having us.
All right, perfect. So I was able to be host again. I wanted to end with just a few thoughts on what we've talked about. So one of the things that has been really important to myself, and I know important to Dr. Lee as well, is patience. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to have the right attitude while you're being patient. You can't wait for all the circumstances, because all things are difficult before they become easy. That's the reality. You know, all things are difficult before they become easy. But once you get to this point and you got that momentum and you got that rhythm, things work out, right? But you have to be willing to go through that pain. So a little bit of suffering. You got to have patience and discipline. But again, you enjoy the benefits of that. That's the key, is you get the results. You know, it's like muscle. It doesn't grow without resistance. And that's where our lives are as well. So Talia, I'm going to go ahead and make you the host again. And we appreciate you having us on here. We're more than happy to get on at any time. Let's see, one second.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There we go. Can you guys hear me better now? Drop some ones in the chat if you can hear me. That was nothing short of amazing. That's the way to wrap a boot camp up. Oh my God. With 96 people left on the call, y'all, I'm going to end this very, very shortly. I created this boot camp because we have so many people within this opportunity that really, really, really want to learn how to trade on their own. And literally Instagram, Brandon Boyd Official. My Instagram name is Leah B. So it's Brandon Boyd Official. Type that right out. My Instagram is Leah_B. If you guys do not, I'm going to drop the link to the chat again. If you are not in that chat, please, 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 I'm going to do plenty more. This is all I do is educate, educate. If you do not have the link to the chat, I'm going to go ahead and drop it down. My Instagram name, instagram.com/LeahB. And then I'm going to get the chat link one more time. And you guys have an amazing day. I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hop on each and every day. If this was your first day on, I promise you, you You missed out on the treat. Every day was nothing short of heat. Like every day was great. Every day was great. So I love you guys. You guys have an amazing weekend. Amazing week. Have a great day. In the meeting. I can't do it from here.